Hi you guys, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. My name is Melanie. I started a big domino chain of events, we'll call it, in the last video, and this is where we are picking up. Ideally, I do need to have a clean work surface so I can continue crafting even if the rest of the space is not very good. So we are going to be primarily focusing on this bookshelf here and seeing what we can do to maximize the space. So let me get going and I will show you what I come up with. Okay, so here are the changes I've made so far. I've moved my large pieces of fun foam over here. I use this for some dimensional. I have a bin on one of my shelves with quarter sheets, I think quarter. And so these are just extra supplies. I moved all my golden books down on the bottom. This is pretty much inaccessible once I move this cart back in front of it, so that is perfectly fine. I have two of these iris bins. They are filled with the smaller containers. So one contains extra photos and the other contains some metal embellishments, which I'm not loving. I moved my sewing machine over here from one of the cubes, so that'll free up one of the cubes for some other items. And these are just miscellaneous tools. I moved my Cameo over here. It used to be in the area on my desk. I have like a multi-tiered desk, and I just found with all the stuff I was putting on the desk that it was getting to be a little bit too tight for this, so we moved that over here. Ideally, I would have this out and on a counter connected to my computer, but it just isn't going to work. So this is the next quote unquote best thing. I have an empty bowl here. I love the bowls. I just haven't found the right purpose for them. I have some other ones up here as decorative items, and I'll figure out what to do with them one of these days because I just like them. Over here are my coloring books and journals and items I use for journaling. These are more resource books, some miscellaneous tools and pens. I don't know that they're going to stay there, but they're living there for now. And then I have these really cute planters from the Target dollar spot at one point, and I like them for storing some of my tools in. Is this the most efficient use of this space? No, but I also think it's okay to have some pretty stuff. And I think I've gained enough space elsewhere that I can get away with this. If I have to, I will sacrifice this. I need to buy another shelf. I think I can fit one more shelf in here, and I might move some of these tools up there if they fit. In that nice and narrow spot. And then up at the top I have my colored pencils and pens and more journals. Okay, let me show you the other bookshelf. I haven't changed much on this one other than this bottom section, so these all were over on that other shelf, so I moved those over. I did move some of these containers that used to be over here, shifted this over so everything fits. I do have one bin down here that I'm not loving, but I haven't quite figured out how I want to do all of this yet. So when I figure out that other bin with the metal embellishments, that might come to better light. Okay, so let's look at the desk. Well, I guess on a positive note, we can see the desk, which is always a good thing. And I have freed up a cube, like I mentioned, so I think this piece and this can go there. I have some thoughts about where this is what's gonna live in there. And this is one of those shelves. I had stolen the pegs for the extra IKEA shelves, so I now have more pegs. I can put that in. And let's talk about this unit down here. So this is an IKEA, I don't know, lac unit, I think. It's kind of a cube, but it's not a square. Well, it's not a cube. It's a multi-tiered shelf. I actually surprisingly haven't hated it here. I would have thought that this would have felt really enclosed, and it surprisingly hasn't bothered me as much as I thought it would. And so that gets me thinking that maybe I can move a different cart over here. So this particular cart usually lives tucked in here, and I don't think I'm going to change that. But let me show you the other two carts. Okay, so I have a Tim Holtz cart that mostly has coloring mediums in there. And then I have this IKEA unit that doesn't really ever have a purpose. I don't know what else to say about it other than up here is kind of like project kits, Christmas card kit, that kind of thing. And then the rest of this, because I moved some of the stuff out, it's actually pretty empty. So I'm wondering, or I'm hoping, that maybe I can move this cart over where that other unit is, get rid of that unit, and use this to take some of the stuff off of my desk. And we just might see. I know you can get like a wood top for some of these, and I might try that. I also have a square or scrap piece of MDF that might work, at least in the interim. So I think this is going to be the next thing I am going to tackle now that those bookshelves are roughly done. Oh, and I'll show you how that other cart fits in. So this is where that other cart lives. I think I'm going to try and remove all of this stuff off and keep it fairly clean, but I don't know if that's realistic or not. So we'll be tackling that as well. Okay, so the desk is filled up again, but that's okay. I did a preliminary move to shift things around. And so I had to take everything out of this top drawer for it to fit underneath here. And I think I'm okay with that. Because my thought is that if I get a wood topper, I'm going to like pull it out and have the extra workspace. But yet I can tuck it underneath here when I don't need it. So that's the plan. Over here, yes, ignore the floor. It all needs to be vacuumed and dusted. I flipped this the other way. I think that will still work once this comes down. So I can still print my photos. And it gives me a little bit better access in this corner. Now, this was everything that was in the top shelf with the exception of the card kind of kit that I'm going. So this I have to go through, obviously. I also need to find space for this. Oh boy, we haven't even tackled some of this yet. But anyways, down here is where I put the other piece from that top. From the top of the Razcog cart. So yeah, it's coming together. It's coming together. But I'm thinking that once I get this cleared off, that bin, sorry for the movement, that bin might have to live there. That is all base pages. Okay, but you know with me, nothing ever is written in stone. So let me get working a little bit further and I will come back and let you know where I end up. Okay guys, I think I have to call this one quits. I'm going to have to come up with some sort of solution to keep this a little more stable on here because I am liking this cart. I did fill it with some various supplies that I found either on my desk or elsewhere. I have my old Big Shot down there, which I'm not getting rid of in case my new electric one goes on the fritz. And then just some other stuff I'm not sure what I'm doing with yet. You're going to hear a lot of that. I have my other Big Shot Plus over here, which needs to go into storage. And I think I've shown you this already. I added these ones here for now. Again, it's not perfect. I just need stuff put away so that I can function again in this space. So the desk or the floor is pretty much clean on this part, but that's going to change. So coming over here, I've got a bunch of extra organization tools and supplies. These are just, I'm holding on because I don't know what I'm going to need, and I would hate to get rid of stuff to use it as I progress. This is my wall of stuff that I need to either purge or find a home for. I do still have this bin here that's mostly open, or this cube that's mostly open. I do have storage stuff in there kind of as a placeholder, thinking that that's where that would live with whatever supplies I decide. I have shown you this bookshelf multiple times now, and it keeps changing, and that is because I had a mishap. So I finally pushed the envelope on how much weight one of these IKEA shelves would hold in this Billy bookcase. And so I had to rearrange the paper a little bit. So the paper's now all on the bottom. And I had the extra row of paper that I moved over here on the bottom, which meant I moved the Project Life cards over here. And then whatever those other embellishment bins that I used to have on that one are now living over here because they are lighter. Is it ideal? I mean, in a perfect world, I'd have all my like supplies together, but it's not like we're talking a huge difference in space. I mean, it's literally like what, 3 steps? These piles down here on the bottom are all classes and projects that I need to work on. This is my 2010 project that I am bound and determined to get done this year. I have a surplus of greeting cards that don't fit in the normal greeting card section, and we'll have to deal with that shortly. And then this is stuff that technically has a home but needs to be inventoried or repackaged. Whew, I think I'm calling this one quits. Let me just show you what the desk looks like. It's not perfect. I still have a few organization supplies and stuff on here, but I do have at least a space to work. So I think I'm going to move some of this off, probably throw it in another bin and do some crafting for the rest of the day. I hope you get some crafting in as well. Don't let the organizing slow you down. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and we will be back, soon to tackle another spot in my space. Until then, happy organizing and happy crafting.